North Korea's decision to deploy 800 military personnel to Ukraine has sent shockwaves through the global community. What do you think will happen next? Will North Korea's involvement escalate the conflict even further? Drop the number 1 if you believe Ukraine will win this war, or the number 2 if you think the situation will get worse for all parties involved. This unprecedented involvement in a European conflict, the first since the Cold War, raises critical questions about the evolving dynamics of the Russia-Ukraine war. North Korean troops, now integrated with Russian forces in the Kursk region, are not only engaging in combat but also receiving advanced training from Russian commanders. Could this move signal the beginning of a confrontation between Ukraine and North Korea? And what does it mean for the balance of power in this volatile conflict? With tensions escalating and new players entering the battlefield, the global implications of this development are impossible to ignore. Let's find out with us. Recent intelligence reports indicate that North Korean military presence in Russia has reached significant numbers, with approximately 10,000 troops deployed according to Pentagon assessments. Additionally, South Korean and Ukrainian estimates suggest the number could be as high as 11,000 to 12,000 personnel. The deployment's magnitude has notably intensified, with approximately 8,000 North Korean soldiers currently positioned in Russia's Kursk Oblast. Furthermore, these forces include elite units from North Korea's military, particularly the Specialized 11th Corps, also known as the Storm Corps. Russian forces have established a robust and detailed training program to prepare North Korean troops for active participation in the conflict. This program emphasizes several key aspects of modern warfare, including advanced artillery operations and the strategic use of drone technology, which are critical in the current battlefield environment. Additionally, the training covers fundamental infantry tactics, such as trench clearing, to enhance the soldiers' effectiveness in close-quarters combat. Beyond frontline skills, North Korean personnel are also trained in various combat support capabilities, ensuring they can contribute to various operational demands. Integration with Russian military systems is a core preparation component, enabling seamless coordination between the two forces during joint operations. Currently, these troops are outfitted with Russian military uniforms and equipment, underscoring the extensive nature of their preparation for deployment. Much of this training occurs in eastern Russia, where the soldiers undergo rigorous exercises before advancing to forward positions closer to the conflict zones. This methodical approach highlights the strategic significance of North Korea's involvement in the war, marking a new dimension in the alliance between the two nations. Initial combat engagements have already resulted in substantial casualties. Military intelligence reports indicate that approximately 1,100 North Korean soldiers have been killed or wounded in combat operations. The troops are primarily deployed alongside Russian Marines and airborne units in the Kursk region. Combat effectiveness has been mixed, with Ukrainian forces reporting successful counter-operations against North Korean positions. Notably, Ukrainian military intelligence has documented significant losses during attempts to recapture strategic positions near Plekhovo and Vorozhba, located approximately 10 kilometers inside Russian territory. The Pentagon has emphasized that any North Korean troops engaging in combat operations against Ukraine will be considered legitimate military targets. Moreover, battlefield reports suggest these forces are being utilized in infantry roles around the Kursk border region, where Moscow continues its efforts to reclaim territory from Ukrainian forces. The strategic partnership between Russia and North Korea has reached unprecedented levels through a comprehensive mutual defense treaty signed in June 2024. This agreement marks a significant shift in global military alliances, specifically as North Korea continues its involvement in the Russia-Ukraine war. The 2024 Mutual Defense Agreement between Russia and North Korea has solidified their strategic partnership, establishing significant obligations that bind the two nations closer than ever before. Central to the treaty is the commitment to provide immediate military assistance in the event of an armed attack on either party, ensuring a united front against external threats. The agreement also introduces mechanisms for the joint development of defense capabilities, creating a framework for collaborative military advancements. Beyond defense, it extends into mutual support in scientific and technological fields, as well as cooperation in the peaceful development of nuclear energy. These provisions underscore the multifaceted nature of the partnership, which North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has described as an alliance-like relationship. This burgeoning alliance has also facilitated an unprecedented level of military technology exchange between the two nations. Russia has transferred advanced technologies to North Korea, significantly bolstering Pyongyang's military capabilities. These include satellite systems to enhance surveillance and intelligence gathering, nuclear submarine technology to modernize its fleet, intercontinental ballistic missile technology to improve its missile systems, and telemetry equipment to refine weapons testing processes. The international community has raised alarms over these developments, with many viewing them as potential violations of United Nations Security Council resolutions. The nature and scope of these transfers suggest a deliberate effort to circumvent international norms, further escalating tensions on the global stage. This growing partnership not only challenges the existing balance of power, but also raises critical questions about the enforcement of international law in an era of shifting alliances. Subsequently, both nations have established sophisticated mechanisms to circumvent international sanctions. The partnership includes the development of alternative payment systems independent of Western control, the establishment of illicit financial networks through state-run organizations, and the creation of joint banking mechanisms to facilitate bilateral trade. Nonetheless, this cooperation extends beyond mere economic ties. The foreign trade bank Korea Kwangsung Banking Corporation have emerged as key facilitators in these transactions. These institutions have orchestrated complex financial schemes to enable payments between both nations, specifically designed to evade international oversight. The partnership has notably reduced North Korea's dependence on China, thereby altering regional power dynamics. This strategic realignment has prompted concerns from South Korea and its allies about the potential transfer of sensitive military technology that could advance Pyongyang's nuclear and missile capabilities. Initial reports from the battlefield indicate severe casualties among North Korean forces deployed in Russia's region. Military intelligence data reveals that approximately 1,100 North Korean soldiers have been killed or wounded in combat operations, with Ukrainian sources reporting even higher figures of up to 3,000 casualties. The performance of North Korean forces in the conflict has been marked by significant casualties, raising concerns about their readiness and effectiveness on the battlefield. Reports indicate that approximately 100 North Korean troops have been killed in action, with an additional 1,000 sustaining injuries. Among the casualties are several high-ranking officers, including individuals of general rank, signaling that the losses are not confined to lower-ranking personnel. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has highlighted these heavy losses, attributing them to inadequate protective measures for North Korean soldiers during combat. This lack of proper defensive support has made them particularly vulnerable in intense frontline engagements. While strategically significant, the integration of North Korean troops into Russian military operations has faced several critical challenges. One of the most pressing issues is the language barrier, which complicates effective communication on the battlefield. Misunderstandings or delays in transmitting orders and information can have dire consequences in combat scenarios, undermining the overall operational efficiency of the joint forces. Additionally, the North Korean troops demonstrate limited familiarity with Russian military systems, including weaponry, equipment, and tactical procedures. This lack of familiarity not only slows the pace of operations but also increases the risk of operational errors. Cultural differences between the two forces further compound these issues, affecting unit cohesion and the ability to work seamlessly as a unified fighting force. Initially, Russian commanders provided North Korean units with basic training in infantry tactics, drone operations, and artillery procedures. However, battlefield reports indicate that these preparations have proven insufficient for modern combat conditions. Despite substantial losses, North Korean forces are obtaining valuable combat experience in several areas. Military analysts note that troops are gaining practical knowledge in modern drone warfare operations, electronic warfare tactics, counter-drone measures, and GPS jamming techniques. Certainly, this combat experience comes at a considerable cost. Intelligence reports suggest that some North Korean soldiers have chosen suicide surrender, likely fearing repercussions against their families. The Russian command structure appears to treat these troops as expendable, ordering them into hopeless assaults against Ukrainian defenses. Altogether, battlefield assessments indicate that North Korean forces struggle with the demands of modern warfare. Their performance in the Kursk region demonstrates significant operational limitations, primarily stemming from rushed deployment and inadequate preparation. Military analysts observe that while these troops possess strong mental resilience and the ability to endure harsh conditions, their effectiveness is severely compromised by poor integration with Russian forces and outdated tactical approaches. The Ukrainian military faces unprecedented challenges as North Korean troops join Russian forces, with intelligence reports indicating that an injection of 10,000–12,000 North Korean soldiers could significantly destabilize Ukraine's defensive positions. Ukrainian forces are grappling with a range of new tactical challenges brought about by the presence of North Korean troops on the battlefield. Among the most pressing issues is the advanced artillery coordination executed by North Korean specialists, which has significantly increased the precision and impact of Russian-led attacks. Furthermore, the integration of enhanced drone warfare capabilities, transferred from North Korean expertise, has added a new dimension to the conflict, forcing Ukraine to confront sophisticated aerial threats. These developments, coupled with intensified pressure on defensive positions in the Kursk region, have further strained Ukrainian forces. The complexity of engaging a multinational force also requires the development of innovative response tactics to address the distinct combat doctrine introduced by North Korean units. In response to these evolving threats, Ukrainian military commanders have undertaken significant efforts to reassess and adapt their strategies. One notable approach involves psychological operations, including Korean language surrender programs aimed at demoralizing and isolating North Korean troops. On the technical front, Ukraine has enhanced its anti-drone capabilities to counter the increased use of unmanned aerial systems in surveillance and attacks. Intelligence efforts have also been ramped up, with specialized units dedicated to tracking North Korean operations to predict and neutralize their movements effectively. Moreover, Ukrainian forces have modified their defensive positions to better withstand the unique challenges posed by this multinational force. These adaptations underscore Ukraine's commitment to responding to immediate threats and maintaining strategic flexibility in the face of an increasingly complex and unpredictable battlefield dynamic. Rather notably, Ukraine's I Want to Live project has launched Korean language initiatives, offering food, shelter, and medical services to North Korean troops willing to surrender. Furthermore, Ukrainian forces have adapted their drone warfare tactics after observing North Korean troops' vulnerability to unmanned aerial systems. Ukrainian military intelligence has modified its approach to gathering and analyzing battlefield information. The GUR, or Ukraine's military intelligence, has established specialized units focused on identifying North Korean formations and their operational patterns. Otherwise, these adaptations include enhanced drone surveillance systems targeting North Korean positions, modified electronic warfare capabilities, specialized reconnaissance units tracking North Korean movements, and advanced signal intelligence operations. Notably, Ukrainian forces have developed new methods for distinguishing North Korean units from Russian forces, despite their use of Russian uniforms and equipment. The Ukrainian military has primarily focused on developing unmanned systems to counter the numerical advantage of combined Russian-North Korean forces, with the successful implementation of robotic ground operations in various sectors. Lastly, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has emphasized that although 3,000 or 10,000 North Korean soldiers may not have a significant psychological impact, the actual battlefield influence could increase substantially depending on Western responses to this development. In response to North Korea's military involvement in Ukraine, South Korea has implemented comprehensive security measures across multiple domains. The South Korean military maintains full readiness to address potential provocations stemming from this unprecedented deployment. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff has established enhanced monitoring systems to track North Korean troop movements and activities in Ukraine. The military has markedly increased its surveillance capabilities, with a special focus on intelligence gathering operations, border security enhancement, combat readiness assessment, and strategic asset deployments. Important to realize that South Korea's defense strategy now incorporates lessons from the Russia-Ukraine conflict, with 82% of South Korean citizens opposing direct weapons supply to Ukraine. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has announced that Seoul won't sit idle regarding North Korean troops in Ukraine. The administration has allocated $394 million in humanitarian assistance and non-lethal military supplies to Ukraine, analogous to their previous support patterns. The diplomatic response to the conflict is multifaceted, involving a range of coordinated initiatives aimed at addressing the evolving situation. Humanitarian aid has been actively deployed to assist those affected by the crisis, ensuring essential resources reach vulnerable populations. Alongside this, non-lethal support, such as medical supplies and logistical assistance, continues to be distributed to bolster efforts on the ground. Enhanced intelligence sharing agreements have been established, fostering closer cooperation among allied nations to monitor and counter the actions of adversaries effectively. Additionally, regular strategic consultations are taking place, enabling key stakeholders to align their approaches, adapt to emerging challenges, and maintain a unified stance in navigating the complexities of the conflict. This comprehensive diplomatic effort reflects the international community's commitment to addressing both immediate and long-term needs in the region. The United States and South Korea have straightaway reinforced their alliance through the 56th Security Consultative Meeting. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has affirmed that America's extended deterrence commitment to South Korea remains ironclad. The alliance enhancement includes the establishment of a Vice Minister-level Defense Science and Technology Executive Committee, development of supply chain resilience in defense industries, return to large-scale combined military exercises, and enhanced interoperability between forces. The US-RUC partnership has accordingly expanded beyond traditional security domains, with both nations agreeing that attacks in space or cyberspace could trigger Article II of the Mutual Defense Treaty. This modernized alliance framework focuses on strengthening combined readiness and developing counter-strategies against emerging threats. The Defense Department actively monitors the unprecedented military cooperation between North Korea and Russia, with South Korean Defense Minister Kim emphasizing the alliance's critical role in maintaining regional stability. Both nations have pledged to expose and counter the ongoing military and technological collaboration between Moscow and Pyongyang. The Russia-North Korea military partnership has fundamentally altered the global security landscape, prompting unprecedented responses from international organizations and alliances. This collaboration has triggered substantial changes in both regional and global security frameworks. NATO's strategic response encompasses multiple dimensions to address this emerging threat. The alliance has identified the North Korea-Russia partnership as a direct challenge to both Euro-Atlantic and Indo-Pacific security. Among NATO's key actions are enhanced surveillance of military technology transfers to track and mitigate illicit exchanges, strengthened deterrence measures in Eastern Europe to protect member states, and increased intelligence sharing initiatives to improve situational awareness among alliance members. Additionally, NATO is focusing on the development of counter-strategies to address the unique threats posed by this collaboration. The military alliance, comprising 32 member countries, has issued strong warnings about the dangerous expansion of North Korea's involvement in supporting Russia's war efforts. The effectiveness of UN sanctions has been severely compromised following Russia's recent actions. In March 2024, Russia's veto of the UN Security Council resolution effectively terminated the mandate of the panel of experts responsible for monitoring North Korean sanctions violations. Therefore, North Korea has emerged as a clear beneficiary of this development, gaining unprecedented freedom to conduct sanctions-violating activities. The dismantling of the monitoring mechanism has created substantial challenges in tracking illicit weapons transfers and financial transactions. The international community has responded by forming new partnerships and strengthening existing alliances. The United States, alongside over 50 allies and partners through the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, has continued to provide substantial military assistance to Ukraine while developing strategies to counter North Korean activities. These coalition-building efforts have led to the formation of specialized working groups focused on monitoring North Korea, the establishment of alternative sanctions enforcement mechanisms, the creation of new intelligence-sharing networks, and the implementation of coordinated response protocols. Hence, the European Union has articulated substantial concerns regarding North Korea's military support for Russia. The EU leaders have cautioned that verified North Korean involvement in the Ukraine war would trigger additional sanctions directed at both Russia and Pyongyang. Ultimately, this partnership has undermined the UN Security Council as a central institution of global security. The growing anti-Western partnership between Russia and China, both permanent Security Council members, has made it increasingly difficult to enforce additional sanctions on North Korea. The international community now faces the challenge of maintaining effective pressure on both Russia and North Korea without the traditional UN monitoring mechanisms. Military analysts suggest that this situation requires a fundamental reassessment of global security frameworks and enforcement mechanisms. Thus far, alternative proposals include creating new ad hoc mechanisms outside the UN framework and establishing loose federations of international organizations to produce monitoring reports. Military analysts examine multiple scenarios as North Korean forces establish their presence in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Defense experts project that the deployment could expand to approximately 100,000 troops, fundamentally altering the nature of this European conflict. The presence of North Korean forces in the conflict introduces several potential avenues for escalation, raising concerns about the broader implications of their involvement. One possibility is the expansion of troop deployments beyond the Kursk region, potentially increasing North Korea's footprint in the war. Additionally, the integration of specialized North Korean units, including elite special operations forces, could further intensify the conflict. The transfer of advanced military technology and the deployment of tactical nuclear expertise are also significant risks that could escalate tensions dramatically. Currently, the Pentagon has observed that North Korean soldiers are primarily engaged in infantry roles near the Ukraine border. However, their involvement is not limited to combat operations. North Korean missile development experts are reportedly providing direct guidance to Russian forces, contributing technical expertise to enhance Russia's missile capabilities. A broader assessment of North Korea's military capabilities on the battlefield offers critical insights. While their combat experience has shown limited effectiveness, reflecting challenges in adapting to the conflict's demands, their technical expertise has yielded mixed results, particularly in missile operations. Integration with Russian forces remains a struggle due to significant language barriers, which hamper coordination and operational efficiency. Despite these limitations, North Korea has deployed elite units from the Storm Corps, showcasing its willingness to engage its most capable forces in this conflict. Essentially, North Korean forces face substantial challenges in modern warfare scenarios. The Storm Corps, specially trained in infiltration and infrastructure sabotage, demonstrates higher combat readiness compared to standard units. Yet, their actual battlefield performance remains below initial expectations. International deterrence efforts focus on multiple fronts to counter the expanding North Korean presence. The United States Defense Department has announced security assistance worth $2.50 billion to Ukraine, encompassing advanced air defense systems, anti-tank weapons, unmanned aerial systems, and artillery munitions. Notably, the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, comprising 50 nations, continues coordinating support efforts. Through this coalition, Western allies maintain pressure on both Russian and North Korean forces. The battlefield dynamics indicate that Ukrainian forces inflict approximately 1,200 Russian casualties per day, prompting Moscow to seek additional manpower through its partnership with Pyongyang. In response, South Korean intelligence services estimate that Russia compensates North Korea with $2,000 per soldier monthly. Unquestionably, this conflict presents North Korea with unprecedented opportunities to evaluate its military capabilities against Western-supplied weapons systems. Military experts observe that North Korean troops might gain valuable experience in modern drone warfare operations, electronic warfare tactics, counter-drone measures, and GPS jamming techniques. Ultimately, the Pentagon emphasizes that North Korean forces engaging in combat operations against Ukraine will be considered legitimate military targets. This stance reflects growing international concern about the potential for wider conflict escalation. The United States and its allies have implemented a comprehensive strategy to counter this emerging threat. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has confirmed that America's commitment to regional security remains unwavering. Furthermore, the Pentagon actively monitors North Korean troop movements and their integration with Russian forces. Looking ahead, military analysts anticipate that North Korea's combat experience in Ukraine could substantially alter the security dynamics on the Korean peninsula. The regime's ability to test its weapons systems against Western-provisioned adversaries may lead to refined offensive doctrines and enhanced command and control capabilities. The evolving military partnership between Russia and North Korea fundamentally reshapes power dynamics across Asia, creating unprecedented challenges for regional stability. This strategic realignment notably impacts traditional power structures and security arrangements throughout the Indo-Pacific region. The People's Republic of China is witnessing a notable decline in its long-standing influence over North Korea, a development that could significantly reshape regional dynamics. Historically, Beijing wielded considerable economic leverage, accounting for over 90% of North Korea's imports and exports. However, Pyongyang's recent efforts to diversify its partnerships have disrupted this dependency. Trade volumes between China and North Korea remain below pre-pandemic levels, while North Korea has reduced its reliance on Chinese food aid and crude oil supplies. Furthermore, the acquisition of military technology from multiple sources, including Russia, signals Pyongyang's determination to erode China's near-monopolistic influence. North Korea's strategy reflects a historical pattern of balancing external powers to maximize its autonomy. By strengthening its ties with Russia, Pyongyang has positioned itself to resist Beijing's economic and political demands more effectively. This shift has profound implications for the regional power structure, as China's traditional role as North Korea's primary benefactor is increasingly challenged. Meanwhile, Japan is growing alarmed by the implications of the burgeoning North Korea-Russia alliance. Japanese authorities have identified several critical concerns stemming from this partnership. Chief among them is the potential transfer of advanced military technologies, which could significantly bolster North Korea's capabilities. Additionally, the alliance threatens to heighten regional instability, disrupt established security frameworks, and complicate Japan's strategic calculations. Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya emphasized Japan's commitment to supporting Ukraine, allocating substantial resources to counter the growing Russia-North Korea alliance. The Japanese administration views this partnership as a direct threat to regional stability, prompting increased defense cooperation with Western allies. The United States has responded to these developments by implementing comprehensive strategic adjustments across the Indo-Pacific region. In April 2024, the U.S. announced what officials described as the most significant upgrade in the history of the U.S.-Japanese alliance. This enhancement encompasses the restructuring of U.S. military command in Japan, strengthening bilateral operational planning, expanding joint military exercises, and enhancing deterrence capabilities. The Pentagon has established specialized working groups to monitor North Korean activities in Ukraine, recognizing that battlefield experience could substantially alter security dynamics on the Korean peninsula. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell emphasized that the administration remains alarmed by North Korea's increasing military support for Russia's war efforts. The United States has significantly bolstered its regional presence by deepening collaboration with key allies in response to shifting geopolitical dynamics. The Defense Department has taken proactive measures to coordinate with South Korea and Japan, focusing on establishing robust frameworks to address emerging security challenges. One notable initiative includes conducting joint military exercises within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, emphasizing regional maritime security and readiness. Concurrently, the U.S. has expanded its involvement in advanced technology cooperation through the AUKUS partnership, fostering innovation in critical areas such as cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and undersea defense systems. The United States has also strengthened its commitment to the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, working closely with Australia, India, and Japan to promote a free and open Indo-Pacific. This multilateral initiative has been complemented by enhanced trilateral security arrangements among the U.S., South Korea, and Japan, enabling closer coordination on shared defense objectives and real-time intelligence sharing. Through these efforts, the United States aims to reinforce its leadership role in the region while countering the growing influence of adversarial partnerships, such as the North Korea-Russia alliance. China, fundamentally concerned about these developments, maintains a cautious but supportive stance regarding North Korean troop deployments. Beijing faces complex challenges in balancing its strategic objectives, including supporting Russia's military campaign, maintaining economic ties with Western nations, preserving influence over North Korea, and managing regional stability. The Chinese government has avoided direct commentary on North Korean troops in Russia, offering diplomatic statements calling for de-escalation. Yet Beijing remains concerned about potential instability on its doorstep and increased security cooperation between South Korea, Japan, and the United States. This strategic realignment has prompted Japan to issue a new national security strategy, substantially increasing its defense spending. The Japanese administration views the current situation through a broader lens, with Prime Minister Kishida warning that Ukraine today may be East Asia tomorrow. The United States has responded by combining deterrence and assurance strategies, increasing its military posture in the Indo-Pacific while strengthening cooperation with regional allies. This approach includes enhanced bilateral operational planning and exercises, demonstrating America's commitment to regional security. North Korea's military support for Russia marks a significant shift in warfare, with heavy casualties but a clear commitment to Moscow's goals. Ukraine has adapted by strengthening its counter-strategies, while South Korea and the U.S. are responding to this growing threat. The loss of UN monitoring complicates tracking weapons transfers between Russia and North Korea. With potential escalation ahead, this conflict could reshape security dynamics in both Europe and the Korean Peninsula. How do you think this will impact global security? Can Ukraine overcome this new threat? Please share your opinion in the comments section. Thank you for watching this video. We hope this video is useful to you.